WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is a professional wrestling video game released by THQ and developed by Yuke's Future Media creators. The game is based on the professional wrestling promotion World Wrestling Entertainment. It is the 8th installment of the WWE SmackDown series and is the successor to 2005's WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 and was succeeded by WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. On March 31, 2006, THQ, Yuke's and WWE officially confirmed the game. The game was released in November 2006 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 consoles and in December 2006 for the PlayStation Portable system. The game introduced a few key new features including an analog control system, interactive hotspots, and fighting within the arena crowd. The game also included several improvements on the previous game's existing match types and modes. The Xbox 360 version was the first game in the SmackDown series to be published on a 7th-generation video game console and the first SmackDown game to be released on a Microsoft console. It is also the first game in the series to be released outside the PlayStation consoles. Gameplay =match gameplay THQ said they would bring a more realistic fighting experience with a new, but old analog control grappling system, enabling the player to throw their opponent anywhere they want within reason, in contrast to previous preset animations. In the new system, grappling moves are now affected by analog control, in contrast to the button-based system from preceding games. Much like the previous game, one can also move around the ring by analog control instead of using the D-pad. An option to switch to the previous control layout is also possible. The chain reversal system has also been improved and now involves grapples as well as strikes. The Category 1 and Category 2 movesets are determined by your weight class now, so lighter wrestlers have access to martial arts or luchador movesets, while heavier wrestlers have access to more power moves. In addition, a wrestler can only lift up or hurt with certain strikes, wrestlers one weight class heavier than them or less. A lot more interactivity in the arenas is also present, such as fighting within the crowd. Signs and objects from the crowd can be used to beat down the opponent. One major feature is the inclusion of environmental hotspots such as the ring ropes, steel steps and scaffolding which players can interact with. The PS2 version however has a restriction on crowd fighting and interaction for specific match types. The graphics have also improved with each superstar consisting of 20,000 polygons for the Xbox 360 compared to the total of 5,000 from the PS2 version of the previous game. Sweat from the wrestlers has now been included in the Xbox 360 version of the game. The game's audio system has been overhauled and features new sound effects in Dolby 5.1 as well as the inclusion of new crowd chants and grunting from the wrestlers. Roster WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is the first WWE SmackDown vs. Raw game to feature Bobby Lashley, the Boogeyman, Candice Michelle, Finlay, Jillian Hall, Johnny Nitro, Mr. Kennedy, Melina, Mickie James, Trevor Murdoch, and Umaga. It is also the first appearance of Gregory Helms under his real name, as he has appeared as the Hurricane in prior installments. It is Mark Henry's first appearance in the franchise since WWE SmackDown. Shut Your Mouth, and Matt Hardy's return after a one-game absence. Notably, this is the only appearance of Joey Mercury, Kid Cash, Paul Burchill, Psychosis, Super Crazy, and Vito. It is the final appearance for Chris Benoit before his death led to WWE distancing itself away from him, as well as Kurt Angle and Daivari before joining Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is the last WWE game to feature Lita and Trish Stratus as part of the active roster, but they were both added in WWE 13 as who could be unlocked as a part of the Attitude Era mode. Booker T as an active wrestler under said name was also added back to the WWE games in WWE 13, and Big Show prior to his one-year absence from the company. Corey Leidsma, creative manager of WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, confirmed that the game has no new match types. However, there are improvements in existing match types. The Money in the Bank variant to the ladder match is now added, and all ladder matches feature more flexibility in placing the ladders. The player now has to use the analog sticks as hands and arms to retrieve the match's prize. The tables match has also undergone a complete overhaul, requiring players to build up momentum for a finisher and damage their opponent enough before being able to put them through a table, and making one of your opponent's limb red. This also marked the first game since WWE SmackDown. Shut Your Mouth to not feature a Diva-specific match stipulation, with the Fulfill Your Fantasy match from the previous game removed. Create modes for the Create a Superstar mode, Singer Lemmy's face is put in the game as a template. The Create a Entrance mode has been improved with a new preview mode. As well as instantaneous previews of the entrances when the player makes a change, one can also specifically set the timing for camera angles, pyrotechnics and other effects. Despite the Xbox 360's hard drive and MP3 capability, the game is unable to recognize any music you may have saved onto your hard drive like previous WWE games for the original Xbox did for custom entrance music. There is also a Create a Stable mode which allows you to make a tag team, alliance, or a stable with up to 5 members. This also allows you to come out in the same entrance as your teammates, unlike many other WWE wrestling games. Inspired by John Cena's custom Spinner Championship belts, the ability to create belts with spinning centerpieces in the returning Create a Championship mode is now possible, as well as the player's ability to manually spin these belts during an entrance. The championship belts from the previous game are included in this game in addition to created belts. These include the belts used by WWE in 2006, the WWE World Heavyweight, Intercontinental, United States, World Tag Team, WWE Tag Team, Women's and Cruiserweight Championships. Stone Cold Steve Austin's Smoking Skull belt and the Enos version of the WCW World Heavyweight Championship has joined Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Championship and the WWE Hardcore Championship as classic belts that can also be won and defended in the game. Soundtrack: Alive and Kicking, Animal I Have Become, Bullet with a Name, Forgive Me, I Ain't Your Savior, Lonely Train, Money in the Bank, Riot, Stitches, Survive, The Champ, The Enemy, Lonely Train, Animal I Have Become, and The Enemy were previously used as themes for the Great American Bash 2006, No Mercy 2006 and SummerSlam 2006 pay-per-view events respectively. Release: the official demo for WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 was released on the Xbox Live Marketplace on September 28, 2006, containing a no-DQ match between Triple H and Kane. Like the previous game, the game was released on the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Portable. While the series has traditionally been exclusive to the PlayStation series of consoles, this game was released on Xbox 360 after a series of lackluster wrestling games THQ released on the original Xbox. This is the first time a game in the SmackDown series is featured in 2 different console generations. A PlayStation 3 version was also planned but was eventually cancelled. The developers publicly announced that they would rather concentrate their resources on other game systems. The next installment, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, was released for the PlayStation 3 and all future WWE games have since been released for the console. There was also consideration over releasing the game on the Wii as the game's developers were waiting to learn more about the system. However, during a video interview, creative manager Corey Ladesma announced there were no plans for it to be released on the Wii. A special edition version for the Xbox 360 was sold for a limited time at EB Games and GameStop. This version featured the game in an aluminum case along with a bonus disc from the History of the WWE Championship DVD box set and a copy of the Ultimate WWE Trivia book. Reception: SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 was met with a positive reception. In chronological order, Game Rankings and Metacritic gave it a score of 80.51% and 81 out of 100 for the Xbox 360 version. 78.74% and 80 out of 100 for the PlayStation 2 version. and 80.56% and 78 out of 100 for the PSP version. The game received praise for presentation and the high amount of content, but was criticized for glitches, including commentary and ring announcing problems, and collision detection issues, with wrestlers being able to skip climbing an occupied ladder, making the Money in the Bank match extremely difficult. For example, if one wrestler is on top of the ladder, another wrestler may suddenly superplex him, without even climbing the ladder. The game commentary and ring announcing problems includes a chair shot being referred to as a Stone Cold Stunner, the commentators talking about wrestlers not even featured in the match, or Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler talking over Taz and Michael Cole vice versa. References. External links: WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 at Moby Games.